How's everyone doing tonight? Great? That's awesome. All right, so there's this horse, and he's walking down the street, and he sees this bar. Now, this bar is known for one thing and one thing only. People leave extremely happy from this bar. Now, I don't know if it's like the food or the drinks or the service or what, but everyone who even enters this bar just enters it so happy. And this horse is thinking to himself, well, I've been a little sad since my wife left me. I could probably use some happiness. So he walks into the bar, and the bartender says, "Whoa!" The MCU keeps introducing characters and then doing nothing with them. It feels like in the press junkets we get told that this character is going to be so cool. Oh, if you only knew the comic book origin of this character, you would be so excited. And only then you could appreciate what we're doing with this character. So I, the busy boy that I am, took time out of my day to read up on this obscure character. And yeah, maybe I do like this character now. Maybe I'm in love with this character, but I haven't had the courage to ask them out yet. Maybe I'm a shy guy, but maybe I do get the courage and I ask them out. And guess what? They've never appeared in another Marvel project to date. So today we're talking about these characters. This is a guided tour of Marvel's unfinished business. Problem 1, the sequel drought. Here's the thing about the Infinity Saga that people don't talk about enough. It wasn't just that the movies were good, it was that these characters kept showing up. Tony Stark appeared in Iron Man 2, The Avengers, Iron Man 3, Age of Ultron, Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame, 9 films. Steve Rogers, the first Avenger, Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, 7 films. Even secondary characters showed up for regular check-ins. Nick Fury showed up just about everywhere. Thor had 4 solo films plus multiple Avengers appearances. Bruce Banner had 3 different character arcs across multiple movies. The audience fell in love with these characters because they kept spending time with them. Every new appearance was another layer. Every check-in reminded you why you cared. The Infinity Saga was like a TV show that you just kept showing up for with your favorite characters. The post-Endgame MCU has a very different relationship with sequels, and the gap between introduction and follow-ups have gotten so wide that characters are fading out of people's memories before Marvel gets around to using them again. Shang-Chi, released in 2021, critically beloved, one of the best received Phase 4 films, made $432 million during a pandemic on a limited release. Simu Liu is a charismatic lead, and the 10 Rings are a weapon with a genuine, unresolved mystery built right into the post-credits. The rings are sending a signal, and nobody knows what to do, what it is. The sequel has been in development since 2021. It is now 2026. There's no release date. There's no confirmed start of production. The director jumped to Spider-Man 4. Shang-Chi 2 probably won't arrive until 2028 at the earliest? That's 7 years after we first met him, and he hasn't appeared in a single live-action MCU project in that entire stretch. The Eternals, released in 2021. The film ends with 3 of its heroes, Cersei, Kingo, and Phastos, abducted by a celestial named Arishem, who will judge whether humanity deserves to survive based on their memories. That is a massive, universe-altering cliffhanger. The end card literally reads, "The Eternals will return." That was over 4 years ago. There's no confirmed Eternals 2. The celestial Tiamat is still visible as a giant statue jutting out of the Indian Ocean, an event that should be shaking global politics. And then there's Eros, Harry Styles' Thanos-adjacent Eternal, who shows up in a mid-credit scene to announce he knew where the Eternals were. He's been waiting 4 years for someone to call. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever gave us a genuine great villain with Namor, the ruthless ruler of Talokan who kills Queen Ramonda, floods and threatens Wakanda, and ends the film in a deeply uneasy truce. He's not defeated or redeemed, he's watching. The film explicitly sets him up as a long-term geopolitical threat with global ambitions. Black Panther 3 has no confirmed production date. Namor has not appeared in anything substantial since. The king of Talokan is out there bidding his time in a story that has no announced continuation. The 2002 Halloween special was one of the most genuinely distinctive things that Marvel has ever produced. It was shot in black and white with a proper horror atmosphere, completely unlike anything else in the MCU. It introduced Jack Russell, a werewolf, and Elsa Bloodstone, a monster hunter, and positioned them as the foundation of Marvel's supernatural corner. Both characters were explicitly set up for future appearances. Neither has appeared since. The special exists in a creative vacuum, and the entire monster hunting side of the MCU has been sitting dormant for years. Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight is widely considered one of the stronger Disney Plus shows. It also ended on a specific cliffhanger with Jake Lockley, the most violent of Mark's personalities, has been secretly working as Khonshu's Fist of Fury without the others knowing. It's a genuinely dark setup that demands a follow-up. And then there's Layla, who becomes the Scarlet Scarab, Egypt's first superhero avatar in the finale, with a stunning costume, fantastic character. No season 2 has been announced. The Scarlet Scarab has been waiting in her wings since 2022. Now, I know some people had some issues with this show, but Tatiana Maslany's Jennifer Walters is one of the MCU's most charming new additions, a lawyer with a Hulk problem and a fourth wall problem, who genuinely brought a different energy to the franchise. She-Hulk Attorney at Law ended with several open threads and a premise that could sustain, I don't know, multiple seasons? And there's no confirmed season 2. Jennifer Walters has not appeared in any substantial projects. The pattern is consistent. These characters were introduced and thrown away. Now, I know some of these projects were but can you really say that you loved The Incredible Hulk, Thor 1, or even Thor 2? Maybe you can, but these characters kept showing up and eventually found where they fit in, creating these titans of storytelling we enjoy seeing. Now it feels like we have to wait a decade before seeing these characters again, and the longer the gap, the harder the return. The Infinity Saga characters stayed in the audience's minds because they never really went away for long. These newer characters are fading. When Shang-Chi appears in Avengers Doomsday later this year, a significant portion of the audience will need a refresher on who he is. Problem 2, the post-credits graveyard. Post-credit scenes are supposed to be promises. Here's what's coming. Stay excited, we'll pay this off. Marvel has spent the last 4 years handing out IOUs and then quietly losing the receipts. The mid-credit scenes of Eternals 2021, Thanos' brother shows up, played by one of the most famous people alive, and announces he wants to help the Eternals. The crowd went insane. Harry Styles has not appeared in a single MCU project since then. Not a cameo, not a mention, not a deleted scene, nothing. His entire MCU future is held hostage by an Eternals 2 that may never come. Brett Goldstein, Ted Lasso's Roy Kent, one of the most beloved TV characters of the last decade, walks in as Hercules, sent by his father Zeus to take down Thor. I love the casting, and the audience lost their mind. Thor 4 has no confirmed director, no confirmed script, no release date. Hercules has been standing in the wings for going on 4 years with absolutely nothing to do. Charlize Theron appeared as Clea, Strange's most significant love interest and eventual wife in the comics, a massively important character in his mythology. And she tells him that there's an incursion coming and they need to fix it together. With that being said, Doctor Strange 3 has no confirmed release date. Cumberbatch has not appeared in a live-action MCU movie since 2022. Charlize Theron is presumably still waiting for her call sheet? Maybe? Monica Rambeau ends up in an alternate universe hospital where Kelsey Grammer's Beast, reprising his Fox X-Men role, is treating her. This was exciting because it suggested the Fox-era X-Men were going to be woven into the MCU's multiverse in a meaningful way. The Marvels had the lowest opening weekend of any MCU film. Monica has not appeared since. At the end of Eternals, Dane Whitman opens a box containing the cursed Ebony Blade, the sword that will make him the Black Knight, and an unseen voice asks if he's ready for it. That voice was confirmed to be Mahershala Ali's Blade. Mahershala Ali was announced as Blade back in 2019. The Blade film has been in development hell ever since then, with multiple directors, multiple rewrites, multiple delays. Blade hasn't appeared. Black Knight hasn't appeared. That post-credit scene from 2021 is still waiting on 2 separate films to get made before it can really mean anything. And here's what changed between the Infinity Saga and now. In the early phases, every post-credits promise got kept. Fury promised the Avengers in 2008. The Avengers assembled in 2012. Thor's hammer was teased at the end of Iron Man 2. Thor came out the next year. The pipeline was full. The promises were specific. The audience trusted them because the track record was real. The post-Endgame MCU doesn't have that track record anymore. And the result is something genuinely damaging. The post-credit scene itself has lost its power. When something new shows up in a Marvel stinger now, the instinctive reaction isn't excitement. It's more like skepticism. Like, I'll believe it when I see it. That shift is one of the most costly things that is happening to Marvel's relationship with its audience, because the post-credit scene was one of their most valuable tools, and they blunted it through overuse and under-delivery. Problem 3, locked characters. This is the one that gets talked about the least, and it might be the most structurally damaging of the three. Some of the characters Marvel introduced can't really go anywhere until a specific sequel gets made, and those sequels keep not getting made. So the characters just wait frozen in amber, fully formed, fully capable, completely unable to move forward. America Chavez debuted in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in 2022. She can punch star-shaped holes through the multiverse. She's one of the most powerful characters. She ends the film training at Kamala Khan. She's been positioned as a future Young Avenger cornerstone, but her story lives in Doctor Strange corner of the MCU, and Doctor Strange 3 doesn't exist yet. Every logical next beat, controlling her powers, her Young Avengers role, her relationship with Strange and Wong, requires a vehicle that hasn't been built yet. She's been sitting at Kamala Khan learning spells for like 4 years. Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop is one of the genuine great new additions to Phase 4. Smart, charming, a natural heir to the Hawkeye mantle. Hawkeye ends with her relationship with Clint Barton established, her relationship with Yelena beginning, and her entire superhero career just getting started. She's been built as a Young Avenger cornerstone alongside America Chavez and Kamala Khan and others, but a Young Avengers project has not been announced yet. Hawkeye Season 2 has not been announced yet. And Kate Bishop hasn't appeared in anything since 2021. She's ready to go. There's just nowhere to go. Aman Vellani's Kamala Khan is arguably the most pure-hearted character that we have ever had in the MCU. Her Ms. Marvel series ended with her being confirmed as a mutant and heading off to join the wider MCU. She appears in the Marvels, which underperformed. Ms. Marvel Season 2 is unconfirmed. The Young Avengers project she's supposed to anchor has not been announced yet. Kamala is literally in superhero limbo. Are you noticing a pattern yet? The structural problem connecting all of these is that Marvel built very specific narrative ecosystems in Phase 4. Doctor Strange's mystic world, the Eternals' cosmic world, Moon Knight's Egyptian mythology world, and Hawkeye's street-level New York world, and then didn't maintain them with sequels. When an ecosystem doesn't get a sequel, everything inside of it fossilizes. America Chavez can't grow without Doctor Strange 3. Kate Bishop can't become Hawkeye without somewhere to do it. The Scarlet Scarab can't fly without Moon Knight Season 2 to launch her. The Infinity Saga avoided this by letting characters migrate freely across each other's stories. Tony Stark showed up in Spider-Man Homecoming and gave Spider-Man access to the wider MCU without requiring a standalone Iron Man 4. Fury appeared in Captain Marvel to tie her to the larger story naturally. Phase 4 created corners that were more self-inclusive, and when those corners stopped getting content, the characters inside them had nowhere to go. Conclusion. Here's what I just keep coming back to. The Infinity Saga worked because Marvel treated its characters like long-term investments. Every appearance built equity. Every check-in compounded interest. Tony Stark wasn't just a character you met in 2008. He was someone you checked in on every couple years or so. Someone whose life kept changing. Someone you watched grow up alongside the franchise. But the time Endgame arrived, the emotional payoff was proportional to the time spent. The post-Endgame MCU introduced more new characters in Phase 4 alone than the entire Infinity Saga combined. Shang-Chi, The Eternals, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Kamala Khan, Kate Bishop, America Chavez, the Scarlet Scarab, Namor, Elsa Bloodstone, Sylvie, and dozens of post-credit scene arrivals on top of that. Eros, Hercules, Clea, Beast, the Black Knight. That's an enormous amount of characters to ask an audience to care about. And caring about a character requires maintenance. It requires check-ins. It requires seeing them again, watching them change. Feeling like their story is going somewhere. Most of these characters haven't had that. Most of them have been introduced and then left in place, fully formed, waiting for a sequel that keeps getting delayed, or a sequel that was never officially confirmed in the first place. And the audiences can feel it, not as a specific complaint about any one character, but as a general sense that investing in someone new is risky. Because the last 4 times you did it, nothing happened. That's the damage. It's not any one broken promise. It's the accumulative weight of all of them. The Infinity Saga worked because every thread eventually got pulled. Every character eventually got their moment. The audience never had to wonder if their investment would pay off, because it always did. Right now, there's a whole roster of characters sitting just off screen, wondering the same thing the audience is wondering. Whether any of this will change. Marvel has offered me the ability to fall in love with so many characters. I'm sure you have too, and I'm sure you're saddened by not seeing them again. But all I have to say is, hey, why the long face?